Friends, welcome to another episode of Leadership Synergized. I'm your host, Kevin Smith. Today, we're diving into a conversation that is rich with experience, authenticity, and wisdom. Our guest is someone I've admired for years, Mr. Doug Skoke. Doug is a leader who brings his whole self to the table. His journey spans leadership roles, life transitions, fatherhood, personal reinvention, and a deep commitment to understanding the person within. What you're about to hear is not just a resume of titles or accomplishments, but a powerful story of resilience, self-discovery, purpose, and growth. In this and the coming episodes, Doug shares openly about the challenges that shaped him, the internal work that transformed him, the lessons he learned from raising two adopted sons, and how he ultimately stepped boldly into entrepreneurship. His vulnerability, humility, and courage offer golden nuggets for leaders at every stage of life. So settle in, lean forward, and get ready for a meaningful conversation that will challenge your thinking and inspire your heart. Doug, my friend, thank you for being with us, and welcome to Leadership Synergized. Welcome back to this episode of Leadership Synergized, my friends. And as you can see, a very familiar face from last week, Mr. Doug Skoke has joined us. And Doug, last week we picked up a bit and we're talking about, that identification with internal self as the focus. And so admire you and, just watching you from a distance, be it through LinkedIn or some of the other programs and groups that we kind of join and share from time to time and grow through in that regard. You do a great job of representing yourself in that constancy of purpose, and I've admired and quite honestly grown through watching you from a distance in that regard. It's been a big plus for someone like myself with a battle with inferiority for more than 65 years on this earth in that setting. But you finally took a step to become your own entrepreneur. And I know you mentioned in our last episode that the company you were working for closed down, and that kind of became the impetus. Talk a little bit about that journey. And I sense it's been a very positive journey, but I'm sure there's been some trepidation and maybe a few challenges that you've taken away some lessons from.
Okay, first of all, because I'm a keen listener, and I'm completely present with you, which is very important. I think you said you're in your 65th year of life or something around there.
Actually, getting closer to 67, but I'm beyond the midpoint by far.
Wow, you, sir, look, sound, feel. I get the energy. Amazing.
You're very kind.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Now to your, okay. Our self-talk is exceedingly important, as you know. That's stating the obvious, right? We sort of become what we think about. I spent my entire adult life and professional life telling myself this story on repeat that I'm not perfect on the ranks in military, but like I'm a good lieutenant, or somebody, I am loyal to the core. I definitely have an independent streak. I can be a contrarian sometimes, but when there's mission, I'm your guy. That's cool. Like you can task me with something and I'll do it the right way and I'll support, I'll work my tail off, but I'm not the CEO. I'm not the entrepreneur. I'm not. So this is hard wiring for decades. And that's what sort of drove I always worked my tail off for other people. I benefited from it along the way in a lot of ways. And I also had some, like we all do, we're going through our career. Never in a million years did I consider myself to be an entrepreneur or have the guts to sort of just go out there and do it on my own. It was building up inside of me. So I was aligned with a boutique recruitment firm in South Florida I fell into, I'll have you know, Kevin, I was in the insurance space. I was with a wonderful company, Marsh & McLennan Agency. Marsh is the parent company. It's very well regarded globally. I was on the property and casualty side. It was a for me, great company, aligned with great people. One of the worst professional decisions I've ever made because I chase money. Oh, nothing else. It's not like insurance was my passion. And so I fell into that. I studied to get my 220 license, which was the hardest exam I've ever taken. And I was like, okay, now I'm in it to win it. And I spent 2.5 or 3 miserable years in the insurance industry. It was so miserable that that was the first marker for me. I was so miserable and not performing at the level I hold myself to as a maximizer. And I also knew that I wasn't performing at a level that was acceptable, frankly, if I'm going to be like, transparent to the company. The CEO at the time, wanted more results out of me. It wasn't a good fit, and it was getting uncomfortable on both ends. I wasn't performing at the level I hold myself to. My CEO wasn't real happy with my performance, and I'm an adult at this point, right? I can sense like this is not a fit, but I did because of faith over fear. I did something that, and I'm in the business for 9 years now, I would rarely advise any candidate to do, which is, leave a job while you're gainfully employed without any next step type of thing. I said, no, man, I'm doing it. This is it. This is it. I'm going to put my faith in. I'll use the word God. I use the word universe quite a bit. It's just a higher power. I, Kevin, I can't explain it because I don't consider myself to be a particularly, religion means different things to different people. I would not consider myself a very religious practitioner, but it doesn't matter. I'm a practitioner of something. I felt like if I was going to be true to me, I actually need to tender my resignation without a plan, and that God's going to take care of me because I'm deserving of being taken care of. And I truly felt that for the first time in my life. So I resigned without a plan. And it was terrifying because I don't come from a very wealthy family. I don't sit on a pile of money and a nest egg that gets me through the next 18, 24, 36 months without none of that. I still have massive responsibilities for both of these kids. But it was what it was. And wouldn't you know, it worked out. It worked out just beautifully. I got aligned to this industry that I'm in now. So I started with this boutique recruitment firm, which was a nice ride for several years, but I knew it was going to come to an end at some point, and it came to a pretty nasty end, to be honest. Pretty nasty. Not fully unexpected. I sensed it was going on, but it did. And then that was the awakening for me. That I leaned back into faith and I said, you know what? I did this 8 years ago. I resigned from a position without knowing what I was going to do next. Now this company is done. It's time for me to flex. I know I can do it and I'm going to do it. So I dived into doing it on my own, January of this year, and it's been a wild ride. One thing I have, and you must talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, and there's probably red thread similarities in all entrepreneurs' experiences. And I don't want to jinx myself, but the one emotion that I really haven't been troubled by to date is fear, which is wild because it's been a roller coaster. It's no low hanging fruit, but I've never been fearful of this, of my, and what's happened as a result is I realized that everything happens exactly when it's supposed to happen. And my philosophy is there's no couldas or shouldas. If it coulda or shoulda, it woulda, and it didda when it did. I was not ready to be an entrepreneur or lean into this years ago, but I was when it happened. And now I realize, oh my God, no going back. If this thing blows up, I'll figure something else out, but I ain't working for somebody ever again. That's that's how much I enjoy being an entrepreneur.
Good for you. So, my brother, your industry is kind of the recruitment,
Yep.
executive talent search. Talk a little bit about what has made that industry the fit that I'm hearing the passion out of your voice for in Doug Skoke.
Great question, Kevin. So my hard wiring is, and it's on my LinkedIn banner, I think. Lifting others up fills my cup.
Mm,
That's who I am at my core.
mm,
So what I've realized about this industry that I'm in, recruitment, on the agency side. So I'm not internal. I've never done it internally at a company.
mm.
I'm sort of the conduit. So when a company hires me, they're entrusting me with enormous responsibility. It's we need to fill a position, and you, me, need to go find the talent to fill that position. So the beautiful thing about this is I'm able to impact, I'm able to upgrade a human being's life by aligning them with a wonderful opportunity while simultaneously solving a critical business issue. So it satisfies everything for me. It checks every single box for me. Now, what I just described is the sun, moon, and stars aligning, but that's the drug for me. That's what keeps me going. There's a million losses along the way because
Mm.
think of my business is humans, the most unpredictable commodity, if you will, on planet Earth. But the impact of what I do in somebody's life, I'm getting them out of a toxic work environment. I'm aligning somebody into a new position where they're actually able to flex their marketing skills in ways they weren't be able to before. You're right, the list is endless, but it's all taking this opportunity and upgrading somebody's life. And the feeling that you get from that, just from, I mean, it sounds very altruistic, I guess. It's for real. It's for real. And that's the drug. That's what keeps me coming back. As long as I know I can make that sort of impact, I won't stop doing it.
I hear you're a maximizer and achiever. I think both were in your top five coming through. And
Yes.
your fifth one, I think you said was in election. And wow, you certainly represent that, my friend. Much respect for your level of intellection and how you've taken your life experience and put it all together into this wonderful package of success, significance, and service that we see on our screen. Doug, look, from the outside looking in, right? Recruiters and used to be called headhunters at time, right? Back in the day when I was in manufacturing and
Yeah,
people have their views and opinions in those aspects.
sure.
How have you seen the industry change in your 9, 10, 11 years and now as a business owner?
So man, there is a lot. It's a tough industry. It's noisy. It is competitive. It is crowded. The barrier to entry, if you will, is very low. I
Mm,
mean, let's just be honest.
mm,
It is. You don't have to have it's not like you got to raise, hundreds of thousands of dollars of capex or whatever to get started.
mm,
You don't. So there's good and bad with that. So somebody like myself can make small investments in what I need to get up and operating, but so can a whole bunch of other people that are only in it for the transaction.
mm,
And they treat people as transactions and not human beings.
mm,
So the net impact of that is, regardless of where we're at, because the pendulum swings. Is it an employer-driven market? Is it a employee-driven market? It ebbs and flows. But what I've noticed the last couple, 3 years is it is become very inhuman. I don't even know that that's a word. Unhuman. And it should be the most human of all endeavors. So, quite frankly, it's very easy for me to differentiate in a very crowded space. And I don't say that because I'm the end all be all at what I do, because I'm not. I'm far from perfect. But you know what I am? A human. My emotional intelligence is exceedingly high, and I treat people as humans, not transactions. And isn't it sad that that's my main differentiator? It kind of is to me. It really is. That should be the table stakes. I'm in the business of aligning human beings with opportunities. It's the whole endeavor is human. It should be table stakes that somebody who is in it for the right reasons in this industry treats people as people and not transactions. And we're getting further and further away from that. And it's not even an AI discussion. I mean, it's just there's plenty. You can incorporate all kinds of technology and AI for for repetitive tasks and to streamline some operational things. That's fine, but not to replace the human to human contact. And I know I get long-winded, Kevin. I'm sorry. I'm going to end right here on this one. I have this policy, and I tell every single candidate I deal with, and then I hold myself. I tell them on purpose, because one of my top 5 strengths that we didn't mention here is responsibility, and that's it's a big one. But I say I have a no ghosting policy, and the reaction I get is mind-boggling. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you. I said, no, you don't have to thank me. That's the way that's you should expect that of me. You have my word, candidate, that I will hold myself to that promise of no ghosting, which means if I don't even get feedback from the client, where are we at? Are you interviewed and moving them on to the next round, or what's the feedback? You will hear back from me still saying, I have not forgotten about you. Please don't think I have. I don't want you going to the weekend thinking, here we go again. I'll get back to you as soon as I do this all day, every day, Kevin. That's why I've differentiated. I mean, it's crazy to me that that could position me in a different light than a lot of others, because it should be normalized.
But there's so much truth in what you're discussing now, Doug, and sharing with us. And I want, as we move to the next episode here, I want to continue further at this point of the discussion. We're visiting with Doug Skoke, a great leader, successful entrepreneur, and a man who's lived life and learned from life, and quite honestly, learned himself through life. And he's sharing those experiences with us here. And we're so glad you're with us here on Leadership Synergized. What an incredible conversation. My friends, I hope you picked up as much value from Doug's story as I did. His honesty, depth, and his commitment to becoming better from the inside out remind us that leadership isn't about titles, positions, or accomplishments. It's about who we are, how we grow, and how we serve. Doug's journey through adversity, fatherhood, reinvention, and ultimately entrepreneurship shows us the true nature of resilience. His reminder that life is an inside-out experience where challenges become opportunities and comparison gives way to joy is a message every leader, every one of us, needs to hear. Doug, thank you, my brother, for your vulnerability, your wisdom, and your heart. And to all of you listening, may today's conversation inspire you to pause, breathe, reflect, and continue your own journey toward authenticity and purpose. This has been Leadership Synergized. I'm Kevin Smith. Until next time, stay intentional, keep growing, and stay synergized.